Welcome back to GN Inspire Bookshelf or Book Club, where we talk about inspirations, quotations, and takeaways from some of the books that I've read. If there is a book that you would recommend me reading, please comment on the comment section down below. Today, let's talk about top 5 regrets of the dying. I read this book in 2024, and let me just tell you guys, if you're going through some sort of autopilot, some sort of crisis in your life, and you're questioning things and you just want to switch things up, this is the book you should read. As you can tell from the title, the author, Bronnie Ware, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but the author takes us through, she shares vulnerably about how she was going through some sort of crisis in her life, and she decided to switch things up and spend time instead in a hospice. It was supposed to be a short-term thing, but she really enjoyed, or rather she learned so much that she extended her time there. And so the book is about her own experiences and the stories she was told or she gathered or collected while spending time with people who were at the end of their lives. You know, when you've been told you have 6 months to live or 1 year to live, or you know that death is certainly staring at you and there is nothing else you can do. Those are the kind of clients or the customers or the people the author was dealing with. And so, you know, when you have nothing else to lose, as Steve Jobs said in his commencement speech, when you are naked, nothing else to lose, no reputation to keep, you are dying. And so you become vulnerable. And they shared deep secrets and regrets that when they looked back, they really regretted a lot. The author collects all these regrets and group them into top 5. There were many, but top 5 regrets. I'll talk about 3, and then the rest you can read from the book, top 5. But let me just read all of the 5, but then we talk about the 3. The rest you will read for yourself. Regret number 1, one of the regrets, they said, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Another regret, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Another regret, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. I wish I had let myself be happier. Let's talk about the first 3. Mostly because they spoke so much, or rather I thought about these 3 quite a bit even after reading the book. So let's start with the first one. I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. How many of us are living a life expected of us, following a script written by someone else, following a script written by society? Most of the time we cannot avoid, and we have to follow the script. But reading through these regrets and hearing or reading those dying people saying they regretted these things, I think it made me pause, or rather a decision that I made after reading that book was to occasionally just pause and ask myself, am I still following my heart's desires? Am I still living true to myself, or I'm just blindly following someone else's script? This regret reminded me so much. There is a clip that I keep rewatching. If you've not watched, I would encourage you to watch it. It's of Steve Jobs' commencement speech at Stanford. I think it was 2005, or was it 2006? It's been watched over 40 million times. It has over 40 million views, and it means many people resonate or relate with the stories and the takeaways that Steve Jobs give in that commencement speech. One for me that stands out, and I keep revisiting every single time, is this one about death, and how death, or staring at death, gives you courage to live your life. And he was sharing obviously from his own personal story I think he had been diagnosed with cancer, and he knew that his life was nearing the end. He says, death is likely the single best invention of life. Remembering that you're going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. Your time is limited.
Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
Another regret that stood out for me was, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. This is because I think we all are working so hard. There is always something to do, more especially now with the technology. We have our phones with us, and so we always constantly feel like we should be doing something, we should be watching something, and we are so busy with our work and all those things, and we work so hard. But then the people who are nearing the end of their lives, when they look back, most of them regretted having worked so hard and they didn't have time to rest or relax or rejuvenate. That is a regret. So this is the quotation that stood out for me. We spend so much time making plans for the future, often depending on things coming at a later date to assure our happiness, or assuming we have all the time in the world when all we have is our life today. I think it was just a reminder that we have to intentionally, because I think it doesn't come naturally. It's no longer automatic. We have to intentionally decide or create happiness, or intentionally create satisfaction, or you have to be intentional. It doesn't happen organically or naturally. Especially right now, we have so many things that are wrong in the world and things that we want to change. And things to improve, there is always something to work on. But then you intentionally have to, where you are, like everyone is still working towards something, towards a promotion, towards a better profile, towards getting more money, there is just something. As long as we are alive, I feel like we are always working towards something. This was a reminder for me to intentionally pause and ask myself, what can I do now to be more happy? What can I do now to be more satisfied with my life and be content? What are some of those things? Can I take myself out for a movie? Can I go hang out with friends? Can I take a vacation? Can I take a rest? Can I watch a movie? What are some of the things you can do now with the money you have, with the profile you have, with the status you have, with the job you have, with the resources you have? What can you do now to enhance your life and make yourself feel happier and more satisfied? That was what jumped out for me, because it will be wrong for us to hold our happiness and satisfaction and contentment for later date, thinking that when we have more money, more status, more things, more resources, we'll be happier. It might not be, or we might not be there by then. We might not be there by then. So while I was reading that part of the book, it reminded me of a phrase or part of this book. If you've not read this book, when breath becomes air, I would suggest that you add this book in your reading list. It's a sad book, but it brings a lot of reality that all the plans we are making, we might not be here to see them realized. And Paul Kalanithi writes in this book, my life had been building potential that would now go unrealized. I had planned to do so much. I had come so close. My imagined future and my personal identity collapsed. The lung cancer diagnosis was confirmed. My carefully planned and hard-won future no longer existed. It was really sad to know that he had been building potential and he was going to become super successful, but then cancer came and took his life. Just a reminder that as you work so hard, we are not here forever. So create time to be content. Don't push happiness and contentment and satisfaction to a later date. There is something surely where you are with whatever resources you have that you can do to make your life more comfortable, happier, more content, and all that. Another regret, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. And here, allow me to add and also pursue my dreams. Because I think most of the time we are scared of expressing our feelings, expressing our dreams, living our dreams, because we fear people will criticize us. We fear what people think of our ideas, our feelings, our dreams. And here, these are the quotations that I keep every time I read about shying away from expressing your feelings and living your dreams or pursuing your dreams. Every time I shy away from doing that, I remember these two quotations that give me courage. I keep rereading them. The first one is this one: if you do not want to get criticized, hide from the world. Be nobody. Stand for nothing. Never express yourself. Keep your creativity hidden. But realize that a life lived in fear and anonymity is no life at all. Progress and growth demand bravery. Have the courage to be disliked while staying kind. Meet cruelty with grace and stand tall in who you are, no matter the noise. Another one is from Eleanor Roosevelt. Do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you will be criticized anyway. You will be damned if you do, you will be damned if you don't. And so in 2025, I hope you have courage to express your feelings, you have courage to pursue your dreams, and stay true to who you are.